Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the season finale for season 4 of the Grand Prix World Series. My name is Topher Smith, and today we are at Phillip Island in Australia for what is going to be a cracking day of action. 3 titles still to be decided today. The first title that has been decided is that of the League 2 Drivers' Champion. Callum Ilott wrapped that up with 2 rounds to go at the Sepang Grand Prix. He is already the champion. We already have our vice champion in Topher Najiri. So the fight is on to see who will finish third in the Drivers' Championship and who will become the League 2 Teams Champion. So looking at the points as they stand, Callum Ilott on 190 ahead of Topher Najiri on 148. Those two are confirmed as the top 2 positions. Jake Dennis is currently third, 4 points ahead of Ryo Hirakawa. A further 3 ahead of Alex Palou. It is between those 3 to see who will finish third overall in the League 2 driver standings. And looking at the teams, Carlin, Prima and Andretti have all sealed promotion into League 1 next season, but the team's championship is not quite wrapped up yet. Carlin only needs to score a couple of points today to be crowned the team's champions. Just a formality, it seems, for Perry Brown's team. But anything can happen in the Grand Prix World Series. We won't count our chickens just yet. 297 points for Carlin, 255 for Prima. Prima has to secure a 1-2 finish at the very least to stand at any chance of taking the team's championship this season. And before we head down to the grid and see who will be starting where, a couple of driver changes to bring you. The first of those driver changes coming at the Andretti team. Nick de Vries has been dropped for the season finale in place of Linus Lundqvist, the Swede, making his debut earlier on this season at Indianapolis and picking up a podium on debut. Linus O'Howell is giving him a second chance in the seats today, and we'll keep an eye on his progress to see how he gets on. Bearing in mind that the driver draft is coming up as well, so this could maybe be an audition for Lundqvist to get a race seats for next season. And the second driver change comes at the Toleman team, where Michael Gillespie is giving Taylor Barnard his debut in place of Dennis Hauger. And let's see how the McLaren Formula E driver gets on his debut today. We can now head down to the grid and see what the qualifying results have brought us. And it is a familiar sight at the front as Dome picks up a 1-2 on the grid for the last race of the season. Nick Cassidy ahead of Ritomo Miata, looking to get at least one of their cars on the podium today. Louis Foster third, ahead of Topher Najiri, our vice champion this season. Linus Lundqvist, on his return to a racing, will start 5th today. A great job by him, qualifying almost 0.4 of a second ahead of his teammate Jake Dennis. Ryo Hirakawa is 6th, Dennis is 7th. Callum Ilott, our champion, will start 8th, ahead of Stoffel van Dorn. And Tazanapol Intrapuvasak getting another top 10 on the grid. A fantastic end to the season for him. Sarah Moore will start 11th in the Surtees, ahead of Alexander Rossi and Max Gunter, the 2 Reals, starting together on the grid. Taylor Barnard for his debut will start 14th in the Toleman, ahead of Luke Browning, Victor Martin 16th in the Zach Speed, and then Jess Hawkins, Alex Palou, Paul Aron and Pato O'Ward round out to the top 20. And at the back of the grid, Matt Campbell, Colton Herter, Kimi Antonelli, Teo Porcher, and the 2 LaRousses of Matteo Caroli and Abby Pulling propping up the field. Well, here in League 2, just the team's championship left to decide. Will it be a walk in the park for Carlin, or will Prima Racing pull off the unthinkable and snatch the team's title away? Let's hand over to the commentary box where Tom Cairns is ready and waiting to get today underway. So Tom, let's get this finale started.
Just one piece of business left to sort out in League 2 this season. Carlin only need 2 points to guarantee themselves the team's championship before they head into League 1 for Season 5. The lights are on, lights off, and it's go in Phillip Island for the season finale. The Domes get away fine. We're looking at the Prima of Louis Foster, who's going to the outside of Ritomo Miata into turn 1, but the Dome is able to resist. Cassie in the lead ahead of Ritomo Miata. Louis Foster remains in 3rd place ahead of his teammate Topher Najiri in 4th. And it's Ryu Hirakawa 5th, Callum Ilott, the lead 2 drivers champion in 6th, Linus Lundqvist 7th, and it's Jake Dennis, Topher and Don, and Taz in the Puvasek inside the top 10. Foster through on the inside of Miata into turn number 4, and he has gone up into 2nd place, sandwiching between the 2 domes. It was a reasonable start for the dome team, but Miata down to 3rd place already around this Phillip Island course in Ventnor, Victoria, Australia. Dome hoping to end their season on a high. Their chances of promotion are over for another campaign. But if there's a time to end the season in a blaze of glory, this is it. And so Cassidy, the Kiwi, heading over the line in the lead. And it's Foster in 2nd place for Prima. But we're looking at Miata, who's going to the outside of the Prima. He may be able to get through around the outside, and sensationally doing so. That was brilliant from Ritoru Miata around the outside of the Prima, and it's a dome 1 and 2 as it was on the grid. So there is Miata, and we've got a pit stop already at Dams. Colton Hertz has come in, and it's been a wretched season for the American once again. And there we see Hirakawa being overtaken by Najiri, who's got through ahead of him into the hairpin there of Miller. And there goes Najiri, who's already guaranteed himself 2nd place in the Drivers' Championship ahead of Jake Dennis. And there's what would have been a 6-way battle. It will be a 5-way battle for 3rd place, because Nick de Vries has not competed in this round. He's replaced by the Swede Linus Lundqvist, who brilliantly finished 2nd at the Indianapolis Grand Prix when he substituted for the suspended Jake Dennis. It's Jake Dennis who is favourite to take 3rd place in the Lead 2 Drivers' Championship. Ryu Hirakawa 4 points behind him, and it's Alex Palou, Topher and Don, who has a chance to leapfrog Nick de Vries in this race if he can score, and the same for Louis Foster. Further back, we're looking at Itha Puvasek, who thought about going for it on Stoff Van Don into turn number 1, but Van Don is able to resist for now. But it's so far so good for the Dome team. No retirement so far. Hertz did come into the pits. He's at the back of the pack. Right on board with the Dome of Nick Cassidy. Race winner in Parnu. His teammate Ritoru Miata won in Zhuhai. So at least both drivers have won a race each in their debut campaigns, both of which will be hoping to stay on the Grand Prix Series grid next season. Look at Louis Foster in 3rd place briefly before we head to Alex Palou, who is having another tough time of it in the Ram, who had hopes for more than what they achieved this season. 2 wins they picked up. Alex Palou in Buenos Aires, and Matt Campbell at Dijon-Bourgogne. We saw an overtake ahead of Palou, and that would have been Victor Martin dropping down a place. I couldn't quite see who it was. It was the debutant Taylor Barnard, who is in the Tolman in place of the Norwegian Dennis Hauger. And there we see the Andretti of Jake Dennis, who's behind Callum Ilott, who just wants to make sure that Carlin get the points they need to guarantee themselves the team's championship. Prima have to finish 1 and 2 to have any chance of leapfrogging them to snatch the team's championship away, but that is a slim possibility. 42 points was the gap. Dome have already taken the pole position points, so it's impossible for Prima to get that. Their only hope is to get 1 and 2 and the fast start point. The fast start point is in the way of Nick Cassidy for the time being. We're on lap number 5. Cassidy leads by 1.7 seconds over his Japanese teammate Ritomu Miata. We see the 2 Reals who have come on song in the closing stages of this campaign. We just see them swapping places. Alexander Rossi going through on Max Gunther for 12th place. They're both behind Sarah Moore, who's had a decent qualifying session. She's up there in 11th place, just outside the points. And there we see Barnard holding up Victor Martin in 15th place. There is race winner from last time out in Sepang, Louis Foster, who is going for 2 wins in a row. Prima have a good chance of finishing second in the team's championship ahead of Andretti. 36 points was the margin coming into the round. So 10 points in this round would guarantee them the runner-up spot. Andretti know that they'll be in League 1 next season anyway with Prima and Carlin, which should make things very interesting for Season 5. I'll run down on the calendar as the race continues to calm down. There are 18 rounds in Season 5 in the Grand Prix Series next season, which is more than any other season that we've had in this series. We go to the Caribbean for round 1, and it's Campo Grande in Brazil for round 2, La Plata, Argentina for round 3, Indianapolis round 4, and it's Rockingham for round 5, Dijon-Bourgogne for round 6, Jerez round 7, and it's Mugello and Hockenheim that close out the first half of the season, with the mid-season test to follow the Hockenheim round. Poznan in Poland, a new venue for round 10, and it's Brno in Czech Republic, Parnu, Estonia for round 12, and it's off to Marrakesh in Morocco, Kyalami, South Africa, New Delhi, India, Fuji, Japan, Sepang, Malaysia, and the 18th and final round will be in Australia again, but this time in Adelaide. There's also the non-championship Macau Grand Prix to follow, involving the highest scoring 13 teams across the 2 leagues. And the same thing applies for this campaign. And realistically at the moment, the top 6 teams from League 2 are going to be heading to the non-championship Macau round after this round is over. Carlin, Prima, Andretti, Ram, Dome and Saxspeed are set to be there. Look at the Prima going through the course. This is turn 4 where Paul Aron goes through on Jess Hawkins for 18th position. No retirements so far. We're on lap 7 out of 52. And one team who will be hoping to end their season on a high are LaRousse. Just 6 points on the board all season. Not a pleasing sight for team manager Chris Hosey. Caroli's points finishes have come in Mugello. And 4 rounds after that, it was round 11 over in Zhuhai. No, so it would have been in Parnu, my apologies. But it's been a season to forget for Chris Hosey's team, no question. Now we ride on board with the 40, who is coming round the second sector of the lap. Look at Matteo Miata, who's in second place ahead of Louis Foster. The gap is 3 seconds between the top 2. You could just see the Kiwi of Nick Cassidy in the foreground going through the section of what is known as Lukey Heights. We've just gone through turns 10 and 11, and then turn 12 being the fast right-hander leading on to the pit straight. Dome would love to end their season with a 1-2 finish, but reliability has been their Achilles heel throughout Season 4. What will team manager David Yunt decide to do in regards to the next season? And we look at Barnard at turn 1, attempting to get through on his compatriot Luke Browning for 14th. He's had a strong start to this one, has Saylor, the man who won the Formula 2 sprint race in Monaco in 2024 for the AIX Racing team. He's now currently a McLaren Formula E driver and enjoying life there, it seems. Callum Ilott leading Jake Dennis in the battle for 7th place. As I've already mentioned, Carlin only need 2 points to guarantee themselves the team's championship. Prima have to get a 1-2 finish and the fast lap point to have any chance of winning the team's championship. It's been a strong season for Alex Johnston's team. So the season in a rather promising state with points at every single round apart from Andersort. Andersort was the round I was alluding to that Caroli got a point at. But all the other races, Prima have come away with points, and that sums up the season. And I can tell you there's an engine problem for the race leader of Nick Cassidy on lap 10. And you could have predicted that at the beginning. That sums up Dome's season in a nutshell. Cassidy goes past the pits, and he is out of the lead to Phillip Island Grand Prix. Ritoyo Miata will go into the lead. It's all over for David Young. For Nick Cassidy it is anyway. They've still got Ritoyo Miata in the lead, so at least he's got a chance of going for the win. But Nick Cassidy does not have to feel the brunt of Dome's mechanical gremlins for this season any longer. And we've also got another retirement. Abby Pullin's debut season in the Grand Prix World Series has ended with mechanical failure. And so she is technically the first retirement of the race because Cassidy has gone a lap further than her. But Pullin's season ends on the grass. Just 1 point all season for the F1 Academy Champion of 2024. A water leak is the diagnosis of her problem, and she is out of the race. And Cassidy will be pulling onto the grass in a moment, and he does now. Nick Cassidy ends his Season 4 campaign in the Grand Prix Series with 68 points, including the pole position point he had got. He should be able to retain 11th position in the Drivers' Championship, but that's little consolation now. And as it stands in the Team's Championship, Carlin are doing more than enough to seal their first championship in this series by holding on ahead of Prima. Cassidy's retirement will give the Prima team a little bit more encouragement to get up there in 1 and 2, but even if they get 1 and 2, they still have to get the fastest lap point. Unless both of the Carlins drop out of the race and neither of them get the fastest lap. If they were to tie on points, Carlin would take the championship because they have won more races to Prima. Because if Prima were to win this race, they'll take their winning tally to 3 for the campaign, but Carlin will still have won 5. We're on lap 12 out of 52. Miata crossing over the line. The gap is 1.9 seconds over Louis Foster, and it's Tom Mikinichiri in 3rd place. 2 Primas in the top 3, and it's Linus Lundqvist who's up to 4th for Andretti. Hirakawa 5th for Carlin. His teammate Callum Ilott 6th. Jake Dennis ahead of Taz in the Bundestag. Sarah Moore now up to 9th. She's had a positive race so far. And completing the top 10 is Stoffel van Dorn. We've got the League 1 race to come up later on, and it's most certainly going to be a more intensifying affair compared to what we are seeing here 5 drivers in the running for the title. There is the team's championship to decide between Prost and Leightonhouse. And 3 out of 5 teams could be relegated by the end of today. Onyx, Von Mattel, Manor, Marscard Lola and Pacific could be in League 2 next season. A quarter of the way through now. Miata in the lead, but can he stay there until the end? 2 drivers out of the race, Abby Pullin and Nick Cassidy. Colton Herter, who came in for repairs at the end of lap 1, is down in 24th and last place. We look at the 2 Reals of Rossi and Gunther, both aiming for another points finish. Real have come on song in the last 4 rounds. They've scored points in each and every one of them. 4th place they achieved in round 12, which will have been in Suhai. A point in Autopolis. Both cars finishing in the points in Sepang. And a 5th place finish that Rossi got last time out in Sepang. If they were to score points, they could leapfrog Surtees. Well, bad news for Ed Hunter's team, that Alexander Rossi, who had put in a splendid performance in Sepang to get up to 5th place, but he's not going to be scoring this time around. He is out of the race with electrical problems. So there's 3 drivers gone from the race now. We're on lap 15. Miata sustaining the 1.9 second margin over Louis Foster. Tommy Kanijuri is nearly 5 seconds further away from his teammate. Alex Below going for a move on Taylor Barnard. Oh, it's Paul Aron, sorry, my apologies. At turn number 1, which is named after Mick Doohan. It's known as the Doohan Corner. Here is Taylor Barnard, who's had a strong race so far. He's behind Luke Browning still at the moment. There is Najiri, who's now got Lundqvist for company, so it's not really getting any better for Kramer right now. Lundqvist looks the quicker of the 2. And I wonder if Najiri may be on a heavier fuel load to the Swede. Now, some drivers will be doing the 2-stop, others will be doing the 1. Najiri could be one of those doing the 1, you know. And we've got a driver coming into the pits, I think, at the end of the lap, or a couple. Max Gunter is into the pits. And is Taylor Barnard as well. Should get out in some clean air, the pair of them. Carlin have got their drivers in 5th and 6th, which is more than enough to seal the team's championship for Perry Brown's team. Kramer will be finishing 2nd and Andretti 3rd. Pit stop over at Dome now. Ritoyo Miata has come in from the lead at the end of lap 16, which will let Louis Foster take over ahead of the pack. So Foster and Najiri go through. We've got Linus Lundqvist in the pits for Andretti. Not 100% sure how much time you need for a pit stop round here. Miata is leaving the pits now behind Victor Martin in 10th place. And luckily for Miata, he's ahead of Alex Palou, so he's not stuck in traffic by any means. But when he came into the pits, he was only a couple of seconds ahead of Louis Foster, so that will help work out how much time you need for a pit stop. And I would probably say A good 28 seconds is what's needed. But for now, it's Foster in the lead ahead of Najiri. The gap is 5.5 seconds. Herta in the pits for the second time. And we're going to see a pit stop over at Prima because Najiri is coming in, as is Ryo Hirakawa. Foster remains out there, as does Ilott, as does Dennis. And there goes Lino Sundqvist, almost on the colony of Kimi Antonelli, who will be competing in his last Championship Grand Prix Series race, as he'll be racing in Formula 1 in 2025. Martin's in the pits, as is Pelot, as is Sarah Moore. Théo Pourchaire for Coloni is also in. Foster not coming up to the back markers just yet. We're on lap 18 now. And I wonder who'll be looking to do the one stop compared to others. Well, I can tell you that the colony of Kimi Antonelli has been overtaken by Ryo Hirakawa for position. And Jake Dennis, who just gets by Callum Ilott as the Brit goes into the pits. Foster over the line ahead of his compatriot. Miata is back into third place now. A lot of those he was behind after he had pitted have also headed in for pit road. Luke Browning comes in for 40. Jess Hawkins also in for 30s. Foster is yet to stop in this race, as has Dennis. Najiri has already been in. I don't think O'Ward has been in the pits yet. Looking at Sarah Moore, who's 14th behind Matt Skunter. They have both been in the pits. And Moore will want that place away from the German. And there goes Caroli up the inside of Matt Campbell. So Caroli finding a way through, and we've got a pit stop over at Prima and at Andretti. Foster and Dennis are in from first and second. Miata will go back into the lead. So it's as you were, pretty much. Foster will be quite a long way behind Miata as he's just coming out of the pits and getting up to speed. Ward is yet to stop yet. He's the highest of all those that haven't pitted yet. Kimi Antonelli is still out there as well. And there goes Sarah Moore round the outside of Max Gunter for 11th place. It's been a super drive from Sarah Moore in this round. Aiming for her third points finish of the season. Dennis on the inside of Callum Ilott this time, and that is for position. They've both pitted, and the Andretti has gone through into 8th place. Nice overtake there from Dennis. Ilott looking to be struggling right now. He's got Intha Puvasat behind him. Miata goes over the line to start lap 21. As it stands, Carlin will clinch the team's championship. Kramer will be finishing second. Dennis is doing his best to get through on Kimi Antonelli ahead. Foster, who's 4.1 seconds behind Miata in the battle for the lead. See Hawkins going through on Paul Aron. for turn 1. That's the position gain for the Surtees. And Dennis, who can't find a way through on Antonelli, is being overtaken by Ilott into the Miller corner. And things aren't getting any better for Dennis right now. And Miata is coming up behind Colton Herter. Now, Foster pitting in a few laps after Miata, so he'll be on slightly better rubber to the Japanese. There goes Kimi Antonelli, rides the curves, into the gravel he goes. A very costly error there from the Italian. We're going to get a replay to see what had actually been going on involving him. He just went too big, rode over the curve, very lucky that no wheels came off the wagon, but he's lost the front wing and the rear wing. A very disappointing sight for team manager Lewis Passendale to see Antonelli in the gravel trap. He's lost so much time and places. He's already down to 22nd place. Releases into the pits now. But that is his race ruined. His chances of points are gone. He was due in to do a one-stop as well, was Antonelli. And with this pit stop, he'll go to the end, but all that time lost will not help him at all. Miata got stuck behind Herter on the lap he's just done. He's allowed Foster through as well. Miata won't be too pleased with the dams. Foster, well, he's well within a couple of seconds of the dome now. And the jury is doing his best to keep up. 7/10 is the margin between Miata and Foster. Lundqvist is in 4th place ahead of O'Ward, who's got Ryo Hirakawa behind him. Going to see an overtake in a moment from Hirakawa on O'Ward. The Japanese is doing to 5th place. O'Ward down to 6th. He's got a margin of around about 7 seconds on Jake Dennis, so he can just carry on his way before his pit stop eventually arrives. And the battle for the lead is coming alive here because Foster is all over the rear of Ritomo Miata on the pit straight. Foster, who's gone in for 2 wins in a row, into the 6th straight, round the outside. Can he complete the overtake before the right-hander of Doohan? Miata is holding on for now, and Foster will wait for another opportunity, probably wait until Miller corner to get the overtake done, but Miata has lost a bundle of time over the last couple of laps. O'Ward in for Dams for his only stop of the race, but this is the battle we want to be looking at. Foster diving to the inside of Ritomo Miata, and Louis Foster takes the lead of the Lead 2 Phillip Island Grand Prix. What a brilliant performance this has been from Foster, coming alive since he came in place of Will Power for the Prima team. It's now the race lead going in the way of him. The next task is to try and go for a fast lap if possible. But for them to win the team's championship, they must get a minimum of 1 and 2. The jury is in 3rd place, 8 seconds behind Miata. And there goes Hawkins on Alex Palou for 15th. So Palou down to 16th place now. There we see Tommy Kinijuri in 3rd position, doing his best to keep up with the top 2. He's well clear of Linus Lundqvist at the moment. Now on lap 25. Foster in the lead now, 1.1 seconds clear over Miata. On slightly better rubber is what the Dome has got. O'Ward's pit stop has seen him rejoin outside the top 15. There's a chance he'll get through ahead of some cars before the second round of pit stops arrive for the two stoppers. Jury in third place, over 6 seconds clear of Linus Lundqvist. Round the last corner of turn 12, we'll have the dams of Colton ahead. He's doing a sensational job in this race. In relation to the battle for third place, as it stands, with the positions as they are, it is Jake Dennis. He'll be finishing third. Foster's win would move him on to 113 points. He'll be in front of Palou, De Vries and Van Dorn into 5th position. Hirakawa will be 4th behind Dennis, as he's running in 5th. And one of the Rams is going to be pulling out of the race, and it's Matt Campbell, who, since his win in Dijon-Bourgogne, has found time difficult within the team, and that'll be him joining Alexander Rossi, Nick Cassidy, and Abby Pullin on the sidelines. That's one of Ross McGregor's cars out of this. And it's gearbox failure, that is the cause. It's the second half of the race already. This race has flown by, given the nature of this course. The Foster's lead over Miata is 2.1 seconds. There goes Hirakawa. This is on a back marker, actually. That's Kimi Antonelli, of which he's lapping. He's through, no problem. And there we see Miata, who's going through the hairpin of turn 10. Seconds is the gap. It's continuing to increase in favour of Louis Foster. Callum Ilott is the only other driver this season, or is the only driver to have won back-to-back races. Can Louis Foster do the same here? Jury going through on Herter to lap. So Miata with second behind Foster. As the laps continue to wind down on the lead 2 campaign in the Grand Prix Series. And in for Pavasak, looks like he's carrying an issue because he's allowed Sarah Moore through into 8th place in a rather leisurely manner, and there's the reason why. It's another mechanical problem for Dave Goddard's team. Intha Pavasak is going to end his season on the grass here, unless he can get the car back to the pits. So Gunther through. You can see slowing down now is Intha Pavasak. Can he get that car back to the pits? I don't think he can, you know. And that is the 5th driver to retire from the race And Ritoru Miata's out! From second place, Miata has pulled to the side. And it's race over for him and for Dome. That's going to make things very interesting. A puncture is the cause of Miata to drop out. Into Puvasek retires. Marshall's pull him away, or push him away. Tom Cairns goes up into second place for Prima. It's now a 1-2 for Alex Johnston's team. And that could be very significant. Lundqvist up to third for Andretti. Oh, we're just looking at Dennis, who spins round in the Andretti, spinning at turn 10, just like he did in Sepang. Awful mistake from the Brit. Has he got on the power too early there? And tries to spin the car back round on the grass. So he'll have to let the likes of Van Dorn, Browning, Barnard, Martin, Hawkins, Palou, Aron, and all that through as well. Porsche goes through, as does O'Ward. Dennis gets back on the circuit in 18th position. Six drivers out of the race: Ritoru Miata, Taz in the Puvasek, Matt Campbell, Alexander Rossi, Nick Cassidy, and Abby Polly. Dennis's mistake has allowed Ilott through into 5th place and Sarah Moore up to 6th for Surtees. And Dennis's spin has allowed the fight for 3rd place to lighten up. As it stands, Carlin will win the team's championship. They just need 2 points to guarantee themselves that. Prima, despite being in a 1-2 position, will miss out by 21 points, but that could mathematically still change. In the fight for 3rd place, Dennis out of the points now. Hirakawa is in position to snatch that away from him. Stands, it'll be Hirakawa finishing 3rd, Foster in 4th, and Dennis will be in 5th. What a season it has been for Prima. It's not done yet. They want to get this win so much and put Carlin under some form of pressure in the closing laps of today. There we see Linus Lundqvist, who's behind the dams there. I think that must be Colton Herter, who's been at the back since the end of lap 1. Result it'll be 2 podiums out of 2 for Lundqvist in his Grand Prix Series career. He needs to remain there. And there goes Hertz, who's allowed Lundqvist through. There is Najiri in 2nd place. Foster, who's got a margin of 20 seconds over 3rd place Lundqvist, might try and go for a fast lap. That's what Prima will be thinking at the moment, that they can go and do that. It's nearly been lapped by one of the Carlins. He's down in 20th and last place. Jury. 13 seconds off the lead, but looking good for another 2nd place finish. He'll take his podium tally to 8 in his debut season. Very, very impressive. He'll have as many podiums as Callum Ilott this season. 20 laps to go. There's a round of pit stops still to come. And Max Gunter is in the pits for Real. Taylor Barnard the same. He could well be in the points by the end of this race, is Barnard. It's been an impressive debut, which will please team manager Michael Gillespie. Alex Below and Jess Hawkins are also in. And we've got a pit stop now at Prima because Louis Foster is in, which will hand the lead over to his teammate Tom McKean-Najiri. Linus Lundqvist, who's in 3rd place, will he be heading for the pits as well? He's not. So he should go in front of Foster before Foster gets out of the pits. Hirakawa goes through as well. Foster will rejoin ahead of Callum Ilott. So we'll see whether Foster is able to go for a fast as that. Nick Cassidy's pace was blistering at the beginning, so it might take a late pit stop for that fast lap point to be taken away from Cassidy. Hirakawa 3rd for Carlin. On the road at the moment. Porsche comes into the pits for Coloni. Where will his future in the Grand Prix Series lie for next season? And we've got a pit stop at Prima. Najiri comes in a lap after his teammate. See Sarah Moore trying to lap Kimi Antonelli. Not able to go through yet. Hirakawa trying to go through on Colton Herter. She does so at last. Lundqvist into the lead for now. Martin pits in for Zach Speed, who aims to continue their long streak of points finishes. The last time they failed to score was when both cars dropped out at the Indianapolis Grand Prix in round 3. They finished in the points 12 races in a row. Last third of the race. See Pato Award, who's on the one stop, is ahead of Jake Dennis, who's looking to recover after that spin. Barnard locks up at Miller. And we've got a pit stop at Andretti this time. And it's Linus Lundqvist who's in from the lead. Hirakawa also in. Foster goes over the line to start another lap. Sarah Moore also in for Surtees, aiming for her 3rd point score this season. Van Dorn for Saxby comes in. Paul Aron for Tolman likewise. Jake Dennis coming in for Andretti. He was a long way behind Lundqvist anyway, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue for the pit crew. And Colton Herter, who's had a dreadful season for Dams, is going to be pulling to the side with front suspension failure. And that's the last we'll see from him this season. teammate Pato Ward is running in 6th place. Callum Ilott is in from 2nd. Doing what he needs to do for Carlin to seal the team's championship ahead of Prima, who are now 1 and 2. Ilott will rejoin in 5th place ahead of Pato Ward, I should think. There goes Sarah Moore on Pato Ward. This is for 6th position. And Moore is through. Nicely done. On the fresher rubber. And that should cement 10th place in the team's championship for Jake Senson's team. The gap is 15 seconds between Foster and Najiri. I think the only way they're going to win the team's championship is for both Carlins to hit trouble. Venus Lundqvist, 3rd right now for Andretti. Another impressive drive. Taylor Barnard inside the points for Tolman, who have had little to celebrate this season. Surely his name is going to be in the driver market for season 5. And there we see Max Gunter for Real, through on the one stopper, Pato Ward, and this is for 7th place. The next man behind O'Ward is Luke Browning. There's your race leader Louis Foster briefly. O'Ward thought about going for a move back on Gunther, to no avail. Luke Browning in 9th place behind O'Ward, and it's Barnard who's another couple of seconds adrift. There's Foster. It's coming up to back markers is the Brit. Season it's been for Alex Johnson's team, with the way this season has panned out. Formerly the Midland manager is Alex. An overtake happening from the 40 of Luke Browning, who has not had a lot to celebrate since he famously won at Indianapolis this season. In fact, he hasn't scored a point since round 9. Round being Istanbul. He's looking good for points here. O'Ward really is struggling. It feels like the 2-stop is the way to go here. Barnard 1.8 seconds back. There goes Lundqvist on Antonelli to lap. An overtake from Stefan Don on Taylor Barnard. That's for 10th position. Van Don through. What will this mean for O'Ward trying to stay in the points? Well, I can tell you for Carlin's objective is that they will be clinching the team's championship by 21 points over Prima. Hirakawa is 4th and Ilott is in 5th. Prima. Foster going through on Matteo Caroli. Almost going side by side there. Caroli. Well, he was reluctant to let him by there. There's Lundqvist in third place. And Gunther's front wing has gone missing because Browning's gone through. Gunther's front wing is gone from his car, and we're going to see why. So Browning got through at the end of the pit straight. Gunther tries to go back through and just runs into the rear of the 40. When it was looking good for Ed Hunter's team there, it's all unravelled, and Gunther will be into the pits at the end of this lap for a new nose section. Yeah, that was just too clumsy from Gunther. I don't think any penalty will be given to either driver there because I think the punishment meets the crime already with Gunther's front wing going missing. No further action is taken from the stewards. So Gunther's chances of points are gone. I'll allow O'Ward, Van Dorn and Barnard into the points, providing he doesn't trip over anyone and nearly colliding with Van Dorn. Gunther needs to be careful here. It doesn't cause too much drama to the other drivers. So Barnard gets through. What about Martin? Does he get through? He does. Next behind Gunther will be Jess Hawkins, who's another 7 seconds back, so shouldn't cause too much drama from here on in. Louis Foster is 11 laps away from his second Grand Prix Series win in a row. Tom Cairns sealing the team's first 1-2 as it stands. Martin goes through on Barnard into the points. Mats Gunther comes in for a new nose section. He'll drop out of the top 15 and he'll go a lap down. Van Dorn continuing his run. He's now behind Pato O'Ward for position. He's Nigiri, 15 seconds off the lead with 10 laps remaining. Porsche behind Dennis in their own ding-dong battle. Gunther on fresher tyres now. Could he maybe go for a faster lap? Something he can at least take away from in this race. Now, if Foster was to pit now, if he wanted to go for a faster lap, he would rejoin behind Ryo Hirakawa. Nigiri would obviously take the lead, but Foster would still need to overtake Hirakawa and Lundqvist. The way things are going, Carlin are going to be wrapping up the team's championship. Van Dorn has overtaken Pato O'Ward for 8th place. See Nigiri in P2. He's around about 6.5 seconds clear over Linus Lundqvist. Prima doing everything they need to do. Well, they're doing all they can right now. Carlin are doing all they need to do to hold on. Prima will be finishing second ahead of Andretti. Hirakawa laps Kimi Antonelli, whose only season in the Grand Prix Series is going to end on a flat note. Lundqvist in 3rd place. And good for 2 podiums out of 2. despite the fact that he's only done 2 races, he'll get 33 championship points. He'll have more points than the likes of Robin Frine, Sacco Sullivan, Will Power. Sarah Moore, who has been one of the drivers of the day, arguably the driver of the day, is running in 6th place for Surtees, which will see them finish their maiden season in the Grand Prix Series in 10th place, which is a solid effort ahead of Riel, Tolman and LaRousse. Taylor Bonner just outside the points in 11th. Ride on board with Max Gunter, who'll be on much fresher tyres to Matteo Caroli, who's just ahead of him. So we expect an overtake to happen round about now here. Here goes Max Gunter. Round the outside, it should be a textbook overtake here. And he is through, no problem. Nicely done there from Gunther. 7 laps remaining here at Phillip Island, hosting its first Grand Prix Series race. It's been a rather interesting one. We've seen lots of overtakes. Pit strategy being involved in this as well. Who knows what could happen in the League One race later. We've got 5 drivers in the running for the Grand Prix Series title. We've got Prost and Leitenhaus going head to head to seal their first League One Teams Championship. There's also the relegation battle to decide between Onyx, Von Mattel, Manor, Marscard Lola and Pacific. So do not go anywhere. Foster's lead over Najiri is 17 seconds. Starts another lap and he's coming up to lap the Coloni of Teo Porcher. Gets out of the way. The next driver for Foster to lap will be Jake Dennis. Never thought I'd be saying that. Dennis is behind Alex Palou in 15th. Been a dominant drive really from Foster since Cassidy had retired and he overtook Ritoyo Miata. He deserved to win this. Louis Foster, there's no question. Will Foster remain as a Prima driver next season? Or will other teams snatch his services? It looks like Jake Dennis has hit trouble, and he has done. He's into the pits with more problems. His chances of finishing 3rd place are dashed, with Hirakawa running in 4th place, and obviously Louis Foster leading this one. Dennis is set to be finishing 5th as it stands. He might try and go for a fast lap if he's lucky. There only been a handful of laps left, which wouldn't be good news for Prima. One and 2, they're on course. That would be their first 1-2 in the Grand Prix Series. Carlin have taken 1-2s on a couple of occasions. We see Tomoki Najiri in 2nd place. Already runner-up in the League 2 Drivers' Championship to Callum Ilott. Set to finish in a very positive way. 3 podium finishes it'll be in a row. will be on the grid most certainly for the non-championship Macau Grand Prix of this round, which will take place next week. Laps remaining. I want to see how Jake Dennis is going on, because he's just come in with problems and he's towards the back end of the field anyway, around about where Kimi Antonelli is. Going through the hairpin of turn 10. And Barnard goes through on Martin for the final point on debut. Taylor Barnard snatches the final point away from the Frenchman. A disappointing season for Michael Gillespie's team is going to end with their newest driver bagging a point here at Phillip Island. But not long to go now in this here. Prima on course for a 1-2, which is what their target needed to be to have any hope of catching Carlin. But Ryo Hirakawa 4th and Callum Ilott 5th is well and truly more than enough to seal Perry Brown his first Grand Prix Series championship. He's already got one in the bag courtesy of Ilott, but it'll be the first team's championship coming in the way of him. And as it stands with the table as it is, Carlin will be champions of League 2 with Prima 2nd, and Andretti will be finishing 3rd. Ram will be 4th and Dome 5th. Just 2 laps to go for Louis Foster for his 2nd successive victory. Tom Cairns doing all he needed to do as well. Lundqvist, well, he's done a super job again. His 2nd outing in the championship, substituting for Nick de Vries, whose future remains in the balance. But Foster comes round to start his last lap of this League 2 Phillip Island Grand Prix. Situated in Victoria, Australia. Foster has not put a foot wrong here. A season that has had a lot of twists and turns. We've got 3 teams deservedly going up next season to League 1. Prima still had a mathematical chance today to win the team's championship. They have basically done what they needed to have done, but it's not quite going to be enough. They needed a lot of luck to see them perform the absolute miracle of snatching the team's championship away from Carlin. But they'll take 2nd place. They'll have taken 2nd place in the team's championship at the beginning of the season and promotion to League 1. Louis Foster has put on another sensational performance for the Prima team. Louis Foster exits the last corner to go over the line to win the League 2 Phillip Island Grand Prix. Prima win once again. It's 2 wins in a row for the young Brits. Tom Cairns will head over the line in 2nd place to round off the team's first ever 1-2 in this championship. Linus Lundqvist in his 2nd outing for Andretti collects another podium position. Ryo Hirakawa will head over the line in 4th to seal the team's championship for Perry Brown and Carlin. They have done more than enough. They will be going up to League One as the League Two teams champions. Callum Ilott finishes behind his teammate in 5th. Sarah Moore with a brilliant drive to 6th place. That is her best ever result. Luke Brown in 7th, Stoffel Don 8th. Taylor Barnard had got by Pat Ward on the last lap, so 2 points coming in the way of him and for Michael Gillespie's Tolman team. Pat Ward takes the final point in 10th place ahead of Victor Martin, Jess Hawkins, Paul Aron and Alex Below. It's a win for Louis Foster, his 2nd win in a row, doing so here at Phillip Island in League 2. Tom Cairns 2nd, running off the team's first ever 1-2. Lena Zunkvist 3rd for Andretti, and it's the 2 Carlins of Ria Hirakawa 4th and Callum Ilott in 5th. Carlin are the League 2 teams champions of Season 4. Sarah Moore in a phenomenal 6th place for Surtees, ahead of Luke Browning, Stoffel Don 8th, Taylor Barnard on debut in 9th, and Pat Ward taking the final point in 10th. Victor Martin 11th ahead of Jess Hawkins, Paul Aron 13th, Alex Below 14th, and the last driver on the lead lap. Teo Porcher, Max Gunter, Matteo Caroli, Jake Dennis, and Kimi Antonelli with the rest of those to finish. Colton Hertz retired with suspension problems. Will he be a Dams driver again next season? Ritoyo Miata retiring from 2nd place in the Dome. Tazin Thapusat, Matt Campbell, Alexander Rossi, Nick Cassie, who lost from the lead yet again. Both Domes not finishing once more. Abby Pullen, the last driver who also did not finish. Nick Cassie took the points for pole position and for fastest lap. 2 more points in the way of Dome, but it's little to celebrate. They had so many opportunities to come away with big points this season and seal promotion to League 1, but it's not to be this time around. Kramer did the best they did. A 1-2 finish, but it wasn't quite enough. Carlin are the team's champions of League 2 in the Grand Prix Series this season. Another championship in the bag for Perry Brown, who will be heading into League 1 for Season 5 as the League 2 teams and drivers champions of the Grand Prix Series. Callum Ilott, the League 2 drivers champion. Carlin, the League 2 teams champions. And Perry Brown can celebrate both championships long into the night. It's time to run down, for the last time, the League 2 drivers and team championships in the voice of Topher Smith. And we'll be back for an intensifying League 1 season finale. Do not go anywhere. Topher, over to you.
Well, that is League 2 done and dusted this season. It has been a fantastic season of action within the 2nd tier of the Grand Prix World Series. And let's see how the points have finished come the end of the season. In the driver standings, Callum Ilott already the champion on 200 points. Tom Cairns was already the vice champion on 166. And Rio Hirakawa takes 3rd in the drivers' table, steals it away at the last race. He finishes on 119 points. And Louis Foster, who has won the last 2 races, despite missing the first 4 races of the season, ends up finishing 4th in the championship on 113 points. Where might he have finished had he started the season with the Prima team? Jake Dennis moves from 3rd down to 5th in the end on 111. Alex Palou 6th on 104. And then 7th, Stoffel Van Dorn on 93. And then rounding out the top 10, Nick De Vries on 90, Ritomo Miata on 80, and Kimi Antonelli on 75, the Scuderia Coloni driver, consistently scoring points throughout the season to finish in the top 10. A great season by him as he now moves into the real-life world of Formula 1. And in the teams, it was fairly inevitable, but Carlin is now officially the League 2 teams champion. 319 points for Perry Brown. A huge congratulations to him. He will race in League 1 next season alongside Alex Johnston with Prima Racing and Linus O'Howell with Andretti. You can see on the table here the teams that have missed out who will be continuing in League 2 next season with every chance that they could be the ones promoted to League 1 at the end of Season 5. We now move on to get the final League 1 race of the season underway, but let's remind ourselves of the drivers and team standings heading into this one, where nothing has been decided yet, so both championships will be decided today. Sebastian Buemi currently leading the way on 139 points, 10 ahead of Felix Rosenquist, a further 1 ahead of Joseph Newgarden, a further 11 ahead of Scott McLaughlin, a further 3 ahead of Earl Bamber. Those are the 5 who can still win the League One Drivers' Championship this season. Who will it be? The most likely, of course, is Buemi having the points advantage. But as we have seen so many times in this championship, it is not over until it's over. Looking to the teams, it is down to the last two as far as the title is concerned. Prost on 244, Leighton House on 242. 2 points separating Tom Cairns and Chris Cavani. It is all to play for between the two teams in this last race of the campaign. We also look to see what it's going to be like for the relegation battle, where the bottom five are still mathematically able to be relegated. Onyx on 81, Fonmetal on 53, Manor on 52, Mastercard Lola on 42, and Pacific Grand Prix on 22. It might well be down to a race of attrition as to whether any of those bottom three teams can climb above Fonmetal and or Onyx. We'll keep an eye on these battles to see how they play out across the course of the race. No driver changes to bring you for this League One race, but just one thing to make note of, and that is with Earl Bamber. He had an incident with Felix Rosenqvist at the last race in Sepang that was to be investigated after that race. The investigation concluded that Earl Bamber was handed a 30-second time penalty, but no back of the grid drop. So Bamber able to qualify like the rest of the field. And speaking of qualifying, let's take a look at how the grid forms for this last race. And it is a surprise pole position for Christopher Bell, his maiden pole position in the Grand Prix World Series. Only 35 thousandths of a second ahead of Nicholas Latifi. The two Leighton Houses doing a good job in qualifying to put themselves ahead of the Prost duo and put themselves in the best position to win this championship. Scott Dixon 5th in the Minardi, Scott McLaughlin 6th in the HRT, and you might notice that those top six are covered by less than a tenth. It's incredibly close here for League One. Antonio Giovinazzi 7th in the Minardi, Maher Rakunathan 8th in the BAR, ahead of Jean-Eric Verne, and Felix Rosenqvist 2nd in the championship, 10th on the grid here today. Sebastian Buemi, our championship leader, will start 11th in the Prost. He's got a bit of an uphill battle today. Lawrence Van Tor 12th in the Onyx, ahead of the Arrows of Oliver Rowland. Raffaele Marcello 14th in the Force India, ahead of Kevin Estra. The two Mastercard Lolas of Daniel Kvyat and Roman Grosjean will look to move forward today to get themselves into the points. Jack Aitken 18th, ahead of Kamui Kobayashi and Felipe Nasr. That is the top 20. And at the back, Mitch Evans, Enzo Fittipaldi, Shane van Gisbergen, Marcus Ericsson, Pietro Fittipaldi, and Brendan Hartley, the two Pacifics propping up the field here today. Well, 5 drivers are still in contention, 2 teams are still in contention, and 5 teams still able to be relegated. There is a lot to play for here in Phillip Island. Let's get this one underway. Let's find out how this League One season is going to end. Tom, let's get this going.
Sebastian Buemi, Felix Rosenqvist, Joseph Newgarden, Scott McLaughlin, Earl Bamber. One of them will be crowned the Grand Prix World Series champion today. The five lights are coming on for one last time this season at Phillip Island. Lights are on, lights off, it's Joe at Phillip Island. Christopher Bell from pole position gets away poorly as Nicholas Latifi gets in front in the BAR before the doing right-hander. Earl Bamber, is into second place ahead of Christopher Bell as they kickstart the final race of this League One season. But Latifi has got to a brilliant start. Bamber doing what he needs to do already to have his slim chance of snatching the title. But it's a good start for Leighton House anyway. There is the team's championship on the line, and it's the battle to beat the drop involving multiple teams. Scott McLaughlin up the inside of his teammate Christopher Bell. Bell lets his teammate go through, knowing the situation. McLaughlin through into third place, ahead of his teammate. He's behind Earl Bamber, of which he needs to get through as well. McLaughlin and Bamber both have to win the race to have any chance of becoming the Grand Prix World Series champion. Latifi leads, Bamber is second, it's McLaughlin, Bell. Newgarden is fifth, Giovinazzi is sixth for Minardi ahead of his teammate Scott Dixon. Jean-Eric Verne is eighth, Maverick McGunniford is ninth, and Lawrence Van Tor in the Onyx in 10th position. Felix Rosenqvist is 11th, Sebastian Buemi is 13th. As it stands with the positions as they are, if it was to remain as it is, Sebastian Buemi will be crowned the Grand Prix World Series champion. Lap 1 is out. We're looking at a move from Scott McLaughlin on Old Bamba by the looks of it. Unless we're looking further back, it's actually Antonio Giovinazzi on Joseph Newgarden. Giovinazzi through ahead of the American into 5th place. Not good news for Leightonhouse or for Newgarden. 2 points was the margin between Prost and Leightonhouse coming into this round. As it stands, Leightonhouse will be clinching the team's championship. There's a long way to go yet. Buemi's dropped behind Rafael Marciello. He's got with it all to do. He's not having the best race of it so far. It's the Swiss. He's ahead of Kevin Estra now, is Buemi, so he's got to try and get back through the field if he can. He's on course to be taking the Grand Prix Series title ahead of Rosenqvist, Newgarden, McLaughlin and Bamba. He's not quite doing enough though. There's a lock-up further ahead into turn 10. Don't think anyone came into the pits in the end of lap 1 for repairs, so we are good to continue as we are. But we're looking at old Bamba, who's right behind Nicholas Latifi on the pit straight. Bamba has to win this to be crowned Grand Prix Series champion. And he's going for it. He's got the fast up of the race as well. Bamba around the outside of Nicholas Latifi. Does he pull it off? Not quite so just yet. Latifi holds it back for the time being. Bamba absolutely on form, coming out of the cage and just going at the BIR like clockwork. McLaughlin going for the same objective. He has to win this as well. Bamba going for it on Latifi into the hairpin of Miller. And El Bamba takes the lead of the League One Phillip Island Grand Prix. The Leightonhouse is through at this early stage. What a pass. Now El Bamba, the Kiwi, through into the lead ahead of the BAR. Now the positions were to remain as they are, bearing in mind Bamba also has that fast lap point. He'll be leapfrogging Sebastian Buemi, Rosenqvist and Newgarden. So as it stands, El Bamba, who's 25 points back coming into this round, is on course to take the title ahead of Buemi and everyone else. Now McLaughlin needs to get on with it here and get through on Buemi, on Latifi, sorry, if he's to have any chance. I can tell you that Giovinazzi is sending one round the outside of Christopher Bell for 4th place almost, but has to ease off the throttle to go through the corner. Bamba in the lead now, looking very, very good. Buemi is still in 14th place. Rosenqvist has not had a good start to this race either. He's down in 13th, just ahead of him. There is the Canadian Latifi, just in front of McLaughlin. We've seen passes done at turns 1 and 4. Bamba beginning to pull away at this early stage of the race. No retirements so far. Be interesting to know who's doing the 1 stop and who's doing the 2. It's very difficult to say at this stage. Bamba goes over the line. You can see McLaughlin, who's behind Latifi. Can he get the move done at turn 1? Round the outside. He's through. It's McLaughlin ahead of Latifi into 2nd place. That's a sensational overtake from the Australian Scott McLaughlin on home turf. Can he win the title in his home country? It'd be amazing for HRT. They did not expect their man to be in the championship fight coming into this round, but it looks like Latifi's coming back on the inside, and he is the Canadian, and he's gone back through, so McLaughlin didn't quite get the move done, didn't quite make the move stick, and so it's game on, and this is helping El Bamba go off further and further into the distance. And it's a retirement at Marskola for Danica Fiat. And that is a really bad dent to their hopes of surviving this season. Only 1 car left in the race now. That is Roman Grosjean, who's outside the top 15. That's really, really bad news for Marcus Johansson, the team manager of the squad. They have to get at least 12 points in this race, really, to stay up in League One next season. But McLaughlin is sending one to the inside this time on Latifi. Does he go through into 2nd place? He cannot do it there, can McLaughlin. Not good news for him, and he's not quite doing enough. He has to win this, remember, does McLaughlin, if he is to have any chance of clinching the championship. One driver out of the race then. We're on lap 6. And Giovinazzi goes through on McLaughlin. Not good news for HRT now. Giovinazzi is through for Minardi into the final podium position. Get Enzo Fittipaldi in the Simtech, running in 19th position, just ahead of his compatriot Felipe Nasr. Manor have to get at least something from this race if they are to remain in League One next season. If they don't get anything, they are relegated to League Two. Look at Latifi, he'll be under threat from Antonio Giovinazzi on the pit straight. Will Giovinazzi go for it at Dewan? The answer will be no this time around. Look at Oliver Rowland behind John O'Byrne. He's going for it around the outside of the Frenchman. And Rowland almost finds a way through. Verne leaves the door open for turn 2. Rowland should have this. And he does go through. Does Oliver Rowland into 9th place. It goes from bad to worse for Prost. They cannot find their sweet spot around this racetrack. And we look at Giovinazzi going through on Latifi now, having a strong race. But I can tell you, one driver who's not going to be having a strong race. It's Scott Dixon, the outgoing champion of the Grand Prix Series, is ending his season in the gravel track with mechanical failure. It's a puncher for the Kiwi. It's been a disastrous season for him. And it also ensures that Minardi are not going to have a race where both drivers are getting to the checker flag. It's been that wretched of a campaign for Giacomo Pagliaro's team. And Moscard Lola's fate is about to be sealed. Romain Grosjean is out on lap number 7. Moscard Lola are relegated back to League 2 next season. It's all over for them. Grosjean's disastrous campaign has ended in retirement. At least he's not taken out anyone this time. But in the grand scheme of things, Marcus Johansson will be seeing his team race again in League 2 next time out. And Jack Aiken pulls out of the race in the Force India. They're dropping out like flies here. That's 3 retirements in 1 lap. Aiken joins Grosjean, Dixon and Kvyat on the sidelines. And it's another puncher. At least that helps Buemi and Rosenquist a little bit. Verne is ahead of Rowland again into 8th place. It's been that sort of race so far. Moscard Lola are gone from League 1. They will be racing in League 2 next season. Pacific, I think we kind of knew that they were going to be joining them a long time ago. So it's pretty much down between Fomital and Manor. Onyx, realistically, are safe. So it's between Ewan Gale and Sam Hole. Neither Fomital or Manor have got their cars in the points. There goes McLaughlin on Latifi for 3rd position. Very important here. McLaughlin is through, which will delight the Australians for sure. There is Bamber. Shane Van Gisbergen is in 20th position for Manor. Behind him is Brendan Hartley and Marcus Ericsson. Now the highest of the 4 drivers from Von Metal and Manor is Felipe Nasr in 17th. Looking at the positions, Fomital came into this round 1 point clear of Manor. If neither of them score, Fomital will be staying in League 2. In League 1, sorry. Looking at the countback situation, Fomital have achieved, or Manor have achieved more 5th places than Fomital. If they just outscore them by a point here, they will stay in League 1. So they have to get either Evans or Van Gisbergen into the points here. And Ericsson on the inside of Brendan Hartley into turn 1. He goes through into 21st position. Hardy here. Coughlin, third place for HRT. As I've already said, he has to win this to have any chance. And the same thing applies to Bamber. He's doing everything he needs to do here. There is the table as it stands. El Bamber will snatch the title by a single point over Buwemi. Newgarden in third place in the second Leighton House. If Bamber loses that fast that point, then Buwemi will take the title on countback. In the team's championship, Leighton House will snatch it from Prost. Leighton House will be the team's champions as we see a retirement for Lawrence Van Tor in the Onyx. One of Ryan Ferris's cars gone from this. As far as the relegation battle is concerned, we know that Master Lola are heading down. Pacific are most realistically down as well. And Manor are heading down with them. Fantor retires with gearbox failure. His teammate Kevin Escher is still going in 13th position. Mitch Evans is up there in 14th place for Manor. He's doing the best he can for the time being, but it's not quite enough for Manor right now. They need more drivers to fall by the wayside if they are to have any chance of surviving. Well, lap 12. We're approaching the first round of pit stops soon. Bamber is doing everything right. Giovinazzi is second still. 2.5 seconds clear over third place Scott McLaughlin. Matvey Rigonathan is ahead of Latifi now into fourth place. Newgarden's sixth, ahead of Bell, Vern, Rowland and Marcello are inside the top 10. Rowland behind Vern, trying to get through. And Rosenquist pulls off the circuit, and his chances of becoming Grand Prix World Series champion are over. The dream is over for Topher Smith. Rosenquist retires on lap 12 with a loose wheel. And that's one of the contenders gone. Bamber in the lead. And all of this is promoted Buwemi up into 11th place. If he can get one more position, he'll be ahead of Bamber in the championship on countback. Vern just holding on ahead of Rowland. See Rowland trying to get back through on Vern, and he's allowing Marcello to close in as well in the Force India. Buwemi needs another 4 seconds back from this bunch. On course for the team's championship the way things are going. They'll be collecting 34 championship points compared to Prost, who are only getting 4 at the moment. But a lot can still change. So Enzo Fittipaldi's in 13th position because Mitch Evans has come into the pits for the Manor team. I'll say that Nazar is on a charge past Kamiri Kobayashi. Nice overtake there from Nazar. He is through. So Roberts is in at the end of lap 13. It's early for a pit stop, but at least he can try and get some clear air. Pull off an undercut on a few drivers. So quarter of the way through. We've had so many out of this. Rosenquist out. Van Tor out. We've also had Grosjean. We've lost Aiken. We've lost Dixon and Leah. Those are the ones that we've lost so far. Correct me if I'm wrong. Oliver rolling through on Vern almost, or attempting to get by. Can't quite do it there. Looking at Pietro Fittipaldi, who's stopped behind Shane van Gisbergen. Antonio Giovinazzi in second place. Since he'd been drafted in at Minardi, Gabriele Mini and Sebastian Bourdais were in the car early in the season. Giovinazzi could mathematically finish in the top 10 in the championship if he gets a strong enough result here. He's into the pits at the end of lap 15. And that will allow McLaughlin to go through. It's game on for the championship, most certainly. El Bamba, well, he's doing everything he needs to do. Apart from the fact that Buemi's inside the points now, so as it stands, Buemi will be crowned the Grand Prix Series champion on countback. How long will it be before we see Bamba in? I think he'll be doing the two-stop. There goes Giovinazzi through on Shane van Gisbergen on his outlap. McLaughlin continuing on for HRT. Bamba pits in from the lead. And Scott McLaughlin on home turf leads the League One Phillip Island Grand Prix. Bell goes through on Newgarden. Newgarden really is struggling here. He has not had the best race of it so far. Bell through into fourth on the road. El Bamba, after his stop, has rejoined in 11th position behind Kevin Estra. Newgarden going back through on Christopher Bell. Behind Bell is Jean-Luc Verne, Oliver Rowland, Sebastian Buemi another 5 seconds back. Giovinazzi continuing his fight through the field. That was Felipe Nasser who took. Jonathan in second place, riding the curb before around the last corner onto the pit straight. Twice a race winner this season, Jonathan in Zolder and in Sapone. McLaughlin pits in from the lead. It's a VIR 1 and 2 now. On third, Bell. Third also go down the pit straight. Oliver Rowland pits in for Arrows. Hoping to end his season on a high. There's a new fast stop of the race from Antonio Giovinazzi. And that's important because El Bamba no longer has that now. As it stands with the positions as they are, Sebastian Buemi will be crowned the Grand Prix Series champion. Jonathan in the lead. Latifi is second. VIR just determined to make sure that they get enough points to be on the Macau Grand Prix grid, which they are doing so. sign of McGunnifan pitching in, yeah. Same for Latifi. You see Joseph Newgarden, Christopher Bell and Sean Vern also remaining out there. Marcello pits in for Force India from 6th place. Bell behind Newgarden. And McLaughlin. Cruising past Kamui Kobayashi on the pit straight. You see Felipe Nasser just ahead. Latifi in 2nd place. Nasser about to be overtaken by McLaughlin almost. Giovinazzi's ahead of McLaughlin, for your information. Looks like the BIRs are going to be trying to do... Well, McGunnifan's coming into the pits now from the lead at the end of lap 19. Latifi will take over leadership. Newgarden, Vern. What about Sebastian Buemi? Is he heading past McGunnifan as well? He is. There is Vern, who is doing his best for Prost for their team's championship hopes. It looks like Latifi, Bell, Newgarden, Vern, Buemi are looking to try and do the one-stop here. Brendan Hartley was in a battle there with Oliver Rowland's just gone past him at Dewing corner. You'll see Nicholas Latifi, race winner in Autopolis. BIR in fact have a chance of overtaking HRT and Arrows for 3rd place in the team's championship. They can get both of their cars home ideally. Here's the pole sitter, Christopher Bell. As it stands in the championship, Buemi will take the title by 6 points over Joseph Newgarden. Phillip's Race and Chris will be finishing 3rd, the positions as they are. Team's championship, Prost are ahead by a point over Lanehouse. There's still pit stops to come at the moment. In regards to the relegation battle, Onyx and Fonmatel will be staying in League One. Manor, Marscolela, who we absolutely know for sure, are heading down, and Pacific likewise, all of them racing in League 2 for Season 5. Oliver Rowland, who's behind Marcus Ericsson, who's yet to stop in this race. Latifi around the last corner, still not stopping. Drivers in the League 2 race do the one-stop, and it didn't prove to be the best strategy. I think for Sebastian Buemi's case, it could well be the best thing to do. There he is, Jonathan, getting past Felipe Nasser. Eight tenths is the margin between Buemi and Bamber. The fight for 5th. Bamber's already stopped. Buemi hasn't yet. 28 seconds is what you ideally need for a pit stop round this circuit of Phillip Island. Felix Rosenquist is already out of the race. We know he's not going to be Grand Prix Series champion this season. The other 4 contenders are still going in this. Corner, and Enzo Fittipaldi is out of his 2nd Grand Prix Series race for Simtech with an engine failure. goes. And it's unlikely that Simtek will be featuring in the non-championship Macau Grand Prix next time around in 7 days' time. So Fittipaldi retires. His brother Pietro Fittipaldi for Pacific is still going. He's outside the top 15. Here's Marcello on fresher tyres. Through on Marcus Ericsson. Earl Bamber is through on Buemi, so that you know. I think Buemi did a good job in holding him up as long as possible. Buemi's teammate Jean Fern is also looking to do the one stop. So Prost are going for a bold strategy here, as is Newgarden, to be honest with you, for Leighton House. Here we see the two manners of Mitch Evans and Shane van Gisbergen in 17th and 18th. They've got to get, at the very minimum, a championship point to have any hope of staying up. Miri Kobayashi has passed Felipe Nasr for 10th place. And it's because Nasr is in for his only stop. See Christopher Bell, and we look at Shane van Gisbergen, who should go through here on Mitch Evans, and he does so. Two drivers swapping places. Here's Bell, nearly 5 seconds off the lead now. Evans goes back through on Van Gisbergen, which is interesting. And there we see Latifi, who won't be too far away from making his only stop of the race. He's not having to deal with back markers at the moment, which is good news for him. Is behind Bamber, but he's still doing enough to win the Drivers' Championship. And Gunnarsson's got through on McLaughlin for position. He's into 8th place. McLaughlin really is beginning to struggle now. In 3rd place. He's not doing enough for his own sake. Tronic Firm pits in from 4th place at the end of lap 25. It's important for him he gets out in clean air, not getting out in traffic. Latifi in the lead still. Rejoins in 12th ahead of Rafael Marcello. Brendan Hartley comes in for Pacific for his only stop. We're at the halfway point now, and it's all looking good for Buemi and Prost winning the Drivers' Championship. Leighton House on course to get the Teams' Championship sealed, but it's still not over by any means. There we see Newgarden, who not too long ago got by Scott McLaughlin on the circuit. Latifi continues to remain out there, as does Christopher Bell. as does Joseph Newgarden. On the outside of Rafael Marcello. Can't quite do it there, so we'll probably have to wait until the hairpin of Miller to complete the move. Vern on the fresher tyres, can he go for it? On the Force India. Should send one up the inside. He's going for it. Is Vern through on Marcello? It was a textbook overtake. It was a slam dunk. It was just a matter of when he was going to get that done. He's done it at last. We should be seeing some pit lane activity at the end of this lap. And we are seeing some pit lane activity over at HRT. Christopher Bell in from second place. Place for Prost. Where will Bell rejoin in comparison to Vern? Kobayashi's into the pits. Bell is leaving the pits now. Vern is getting an overtake done on Rowland. Bell is just ahead. Vern round the outside of Oliver Rowland. And that move was brilliant from the Frenchman. Very nice to see Vern coming on form here, despite the fact that he's no longer in the championship fight. Kobayashi rejoins. Will be 16th now because Naz has just got by him. Kobayashi round the outside though as he comes out of the pits. And yeah, that would have been one of the strangest overtakes to do. And he pulled that off. And Latifi is in for the lead for BAR, which will allow Newgarden ahead for the time being. So say Leightonhouse 1 and 2. Buemi is in third place. He's on the 2-stop, remember, I think is Buemi. Well, he might be on the 1 actually as well. So this is kind of falling more into the hands of Prost, you would think, in comparison to Leightonhouse. Vern is in 9th, behind Bell. Both have completed their one and only stops in this one. Bamber is due into the pits again. First Grand Prix Series title. Ensuring Vern crowned champion in season 1. Before I go on with my sentence, Buemi is into the pits for his only stop of the race, as is Newgarden. And so Earl Bamber is into the lead again. Got to go and get the fast lap point if he can do it, Earl Bamber, but he is running out of time. Those non-finishers in Sapun and Sepang look like coming back to haunt him. Giovinazzi doesn't have anything to lose, neither does Raghunathan. Newgarden rejoined in 7th place. Buemi is down to 11th place behind Oliver Rowland. Buemi will be going to the end now. Buemi will be crowned champion on countback as he's achieved more second places than Bamber. Rosenquist will be third. Bamber will be 4th and McLaughlin 5th. In the team's championship, Lakenhouse will be taking the honours by 25 points over Prost. In relation to the relegation battle, Onyx and Fonmetal will be looking to stay in League One. It will be down to League Two for Manor, Marscodlola and Pacific. Mitch Evans is 13th for Manor at the moment. If they outscore Fonmetal by 1 point here, they will leapfrog out of the bottom 3 on countback. You see Mitch Evans has got Kimura Kobayashi right behind. Van Gisbergen isn't too far back either, he's just behind these two as well. Jonathan 3rd for BAR. Lachlan and Latifi are there as well, just behind. Latifi will be on fresher tyres, I think, to McLaughlin. With 21 laps to go in the League One Championship of the Grand Prix Series. Latifi through on McLaughlin for 4th place. It's been a strong race for BAR in this, it really has. Giovinazzi, P2. Looking very, very good. As we see Evans and Kobayashi fighting over 13th position. Kobayashi just got by Evans. Evans will try and have a go back on the Japanese. Bamber crosses over the line. It's complete lap 32, with 20 laps remaining here in Australia, home of the Australian MotoGP event and World Superbikes. Giovinazzi pits in from 2nd place for his final stop. And Marcello has come into the pits also for Force India, which will allow Buemi to go through. Back to the race leader, Earl Bamber, in where he is. Tie on points with Buemi. Well, no, not anymore, because Buemi's running in 9th place, so Buemi will take the title as it stands. New Garden's running in 6th place and Bamber in the lead, which will be more than enough for Lakenhouse to clinch the team's championship. So it looks like for the 3rd season in a row in the League One, the drivers and teams championships will be shared across 2 different teams. Marcello behind Nazar in the fight for 14th. There's a pit stop over at BAR for Matthew Ragunathan. 2nd place. Rejoined behind Antonio Giovinazzi. Vern 6th, Buemi 8th. Buemi right behind Roland. Bamber is due in the pits again in the near future. There goes Marcello on Nazar. Jonathan has overtaken Estra already. Go into the lead again because Bamber pits in. Here's Latifi on course for his 2nd Grand Prix Series win. Walker goes through, as does Bell, as does New Garden. Vern will head through as well. Buemi won't quite get through on Bamba. So Bamba has a chance potentially to go for a fast lap point, which is what he needs to get. Extra pits in for Onyx. Roland already in for Arrows. He's just come out now behind Marciello, 13th. In for Pacific. Let's see. Just a bell for a moment as McLaughlin is about to enter the pit lane. Mitch Evans on the inside of Kamui Kobayashi for 10th place. Now, there's still drivers yet to make pit stops, including him, I think, but that would be enough to see Mano climb out of the bottom three. In the lead now. Bell's second, McLaughlin in third place. Or Newgard, I should say. As we see Bamba around the outside of Jean-Luc Vernon before turn one, and he's through into fourth position. Earl Bamba through on Vern, not hanging around. Now, can he go for a fast lap point here? There is Newgarden, who's in third position. He won't be pitting again, will Newgarden. Newgarden will remain in front of his teammate in the championship, but he's not doing enough to beat Buemi. As Buemi is running in 6th place behind his teammate. As for Latifi, he is there. But one driver who won't be getting to the end is the Fonmetal of Felipe Nasr. It's not going to be a repeat performance of what he had in Sepang or in Sepang. It's a non-finish for him here at Phillip Island. Nasr retires. Marcus Ericsson running in 13th. Mitch Evans has been in the pits as well. He's outside the top 15 now, is Evans. It's not looking good for Mana. They are destined for relegation here unless something drastic happens from here on in. There's Marciello. After pitting, overtakes Kamui Kobayashi. That was a foregone conclusion, don't you think? Buemi is only 1.5 seconds behind Jean-Luc Vern, so I wonder if there may be some team orders in play. Giovinazzi, who's just pitted, is only just behind Buemi, and he'll be looking to get through in the near future. 15 laps remaining. Giovinazzi going through on Buemi here. But his engine expired. Giovinazzi is going to be out of the race for Minardi. He needs to be very careful not to take out Buemi as he pulls off here. And he's holding him up. This will not please the Swiss. Buemi goes back through. Giovinazzi retires from the race. And Minardi's wretched campaign is going to see both of their cars not finishing. Gunnatham will go through. McLaughlin, Marciello and Roland will go through into the points paying positions. Can Giovinazzi get that car back to the pits? My answer to that is probably going to be a resounding no here. And Giovinazzi for Minardi will be pulling to the side. He is out of the race and joins his teammate Scott Dixon on the sidelines. Just see the pit entry there. It's almost like he's trying to crawl back in there, but he won't get that far. It's over for him. And Minardi's season, I think they're doing enough to remain in position to be on the Macau Grand Prix grid, but only just. Force India look to be overtaking them as it stands. Although Marcello needs to get another position to see Force India leapfrog them, because Minardi do have that point for the fastest lap. Gisbergen and Evans into combat again here. Evans, is he through on Van Gisbergen round the outside? They can't afford any collisions now, Sam Hall's team. It has been a season to forget. They need 4 or 5 cars ahead of them to pull out of this now, if they are to stay in League One. There's Christopher Bell in second place, only in front of Joseph Newgarden. Newgarden getting 15 points, Boemi getting 8 right now. Boemi will still be champion the way things are. We'll get an updated table in a moment. As it stands, it's going to be Boemi taking the driver's title and Latehouse taking the team's championship. There goes Evans by the looks of it on Van Gisbergen. There is the table as it stands. Boemi will be champion by 4 points over Newgarden. Rosenquist will be finishing third, ahead of Bamber and McLaughlin. With the way the team's championship is going in favour of Latehouse, they are going to be crowned champions by 7 points over Prost. Way the relegation battle is going, Onyx, despite not seeing any of their drivers in the points, one of them is already out of the race. They'll be staying in League One, as will Fonmetal by the skin of their teeth. Manor, with the way things are going for them, they are heading down out of League One after 4 seasons in the top flight, along with Marscar Lola, who have seen both of their drivers pull out of this, and Pacific, who are not going to be scoring either. They needed a miracle anyway. Manor, Marscar Lola and Pacific are the 3 teams heading down right now. And Roland driving up the inside of Rafael Marcello to go into 9th position. Newgarden approaching the rear of Christopher Bell. A couple of seconds behind Newgarden is Earl Bamber. Still time left in the race for things to change. Latifi just putting a lap on Shane Van Gisbergen. Here's Christopher Bell, who is approaching the rear of Pietro Fittipaldi. He's got the lane house of Joseph Newgarden for company, so he needs to take it very easy here, does Bell. Around the outside of Ericsson. That was an easy overtake for the Frenchman. Ericsson down to 13th. But Fonmetal are still doing enough to remain in League One. And Ericsson coming back at Estra. Can't get the overtake done on this occasion. Bell goes past Pietro Fittipaldi, although around the outside, and there's a pit stop over at BAR. Regunnathon back in the pits with problems, so that's not good for his race at all. He'll rejoin down in 11th place behind Kamui Kobayashi, but he might go for a fastest lap. closing stages here. So Regunathan rejoins the race in 11th, ahead of Estra. Fittipaldi allows Newgarden to go through here. It's been a very difficult season for Pacific, it has to be said. They've been good at getting to the end of races, but they've not achieved anywhere near enough to what they needed to do. And so it's going to be an immediate return to lead 2 for Kevin McMullen's team. As for Latifi, he's just lapped Mitch Evans. He's running in 15th. To celebrate this season. League 2 Drivers Champion of Season 3. Don't know what Uruguay will be doing with him in Season 5. The main focus for him for the time being is just to ensure the team are within the elite of League 1 again next season. There is Bell in second place still, ahead of Newgarden. Bamber slowly closing in on his teammate. Leightonhouse are doing all they need to do, but if one of their cars drop out of this, it will fall in cross court to seal the double. Marcello still with Roland, fight for 8th place. So the field are coming round in the closing stages here. Here's Regunathan trying to get through on Kobayashi on the fresher tyres. Wasn't really a clever idea to go for it there at the last turn. I think Regunathan will get through on Kobayashi in the near future. Will get through on Kobayashi, Marcello and Roland, but that's as good as it will get for him. He's looking to get through on Roland, Kobayashi at some point. He's got a lot of time to get this done, so we want to get on with it. There's Newgarden, there is Bamber. They are looking good for 3rd place in the team's championship, ahead of the Arrows squad. It's been a very, very fine season for John Munro's team. 2nd season in a row in League 1. And there's Kobayashi and Regunathan through at last on the Simtek. 9 drivers out of the race: Antonio Giovinazzi, Felipe Nasser, Enzo Fittipaldi, Felix Rosenquist, Lawrence Van Tor, Jack Aiken, Remo Grosjean, Scott Dixon and Danny Kafia. Fittipaldi in 17th and last place behind Shane van Gisbergen. Nicholas Latifi is going to lap the other Pacific of Brendan Hartley, who's not had a lot to cheer about either from his perspective. Newgarden in 3rd, Bamber 4th. Knows to tail these two. Six laps remaining. Buemi on course for the Grand Prix Series title. Lighthouse look to achieve the League One Teams Championship. Bamber, who led the race at the start, looks like he had a golden opportunity to pull off the miracle. As the strategy played out for him, and for the others, it just hasn't been quite the day for him. Seatbelt behind one of the Manners. Shame for Gisbergen it is. And there is Newgarden, who had an opportunity today. He's ahead of Boemi in the race, but he's not quite doing enough to snatch it from him. McGunnathan overtakes Rafael Marcello for 9th position, almost banging wheels on the straight. He's gone through anyway, no problem whatsoever. See if his margin over Bell is over 8 seconds. Win number 2 looking to be coming in the way of him, and it'll be BAR's 4th win of the season. Marcello coming back at McGunnathan, but he won't do it there. The battle for 3rd place in the team's championship, HRT are on course for 24 championship points. BAR will make that 25 rather for HRT because Bell did get the pole position point. BAR look good for 27 championship points, and Arrows only good enough for 4. So BAR will leapfrog Arrows into 4th place in the team's championship. McGunnathan's right behind Rowland at the moment anyway, so he could well overtake him before this race is over. There is Latifi. Look back at McGunnathan. This should be a slam dunk overtake for the Indian through on Rowland into 8th position. See McLaughlin. It's been a valiant effort from him. Just hasn't quite been consistent enough all the way through the campaign to launch a title challenge. It didn't really come alive until, I would say, the second half of the campaign. That non-finish in Sepang last time out had hurt his hopes big time. He's come alive since he substituted for Alexander Sims. Looks to finish 2nd here, a leapfrog ahead of Giovinazzi and Berman to 12th place in the Drivers' Championship. And there we see Fittipaldi being lapped by one of the Prost. That'll be Sean Verne going through. Miller's having trouble lapping the back marker of his own. That's one of the Manners. I think that must be. I think that's Mitch Evans. He's coming up behind. So Roland is running in 9th position, going back through on McGunnathan. As it stands, Sebastian Boemi will be crowned the Grand Prix Series champion by 4 points over Joseph Newgarden. Phillip Chris will be 3rd, and Lighthouse will seal the team's championship by 7 points over Prost, leapfrogging them at the last moment. Well, they won't now, and there's been a collision involving the Lighthouses. Newgarden and Bamber are out of the race. Drama on the penultimate lap at the season finale. Joseph Newgarden and Earl Bamber have collided. Their championship hopes are over, as is for Lighthouse. They have totally inflicted both of their races and the championship in more ways than one. Newgarden on fire. Bamber didn't quite read into it, Prost are crowned the team's champions of the Grand Prix Series for the first time. What absolute disastrous moment for Chris Cavani, who looks good for another championship coming in the way of his Grand Prix Series managerial career, and it's also retirement for Kamui Kobayashi in the closing stages. And it looks like a loose wheel on that car. Unless it's like a puncher or something. An unbelievable development has happened in the closing stages of the race. Charlotte Fern goes up to third. Sebastian Buemi now fourth, in contention to seal the Grand Prix Series cycle. Nicholas Latifi is about to start the final lap of the race. Fern is third, Buemi is fourth. Rowland goes through on McGunnathan again, this time for sixth position. A dramatic moment in the race and in the championship battle. Nicholas Latifi has started the final lap of the race for BAR. Christopher Bell is second. Charlotte Fern is going to get a podium out of this after all. Sebastian Buemi just needs to take it easy. The only other contender left in the running now is Scott McLaughlin. And Vern stopping on the last lap. He's got a problem, it's Vern, and he's out. He's out of the race. Buemi goes through, and he's going to take the final podium position away from him. This is unbelievable. I can't believe it. Vern retires on the last lap. But it looks like he's still going to be getting points out of this. We want to be going to the race leader, Nicholas Latifi, who exits the last corner to take his second Grand Prix Series win. Nicholas Latifi wins the League One Phillip Island Grand Prix to end his season in style. Christopher Bell comes home in second place for HRT. Where we want to go to Sebastian Buemi. He exits the last corner. Sebastian Buemi is crowned the Grand Prix Series champion of Season 4. Prost have done the double. The Drivers' Championship and the Teams' Championship are both in the bag. Sebastian Buemi is the Grand Prix Series champion of the world. Scott McLaughlin in fourth place in this race. Oliver Rowland will hold off Matthew McGunnathan and Raphael Marciello. Kevin Estre will be 8th. Charlotte Fern classified in 9th. And Marcus Ericsson, a lap down, takes the final point for Von Metal. They will race in League One again next season. And it's the end of the road for Manor. After 4 seasons in the top flight, they will be in League 2 next season, along with Mascot Lola and Pacific. All 3 of them are down. Nicholas Latifi is the winner of the League One Phillip Island Grand Prix. A dramatic end to the race. Christopher Bell second, Sebastian Buemi in third, Scott McLaughlin is in fourth place for HRT, Oliver Rowland fifth for Arrows, had a Matthew McGunnathan, Raphael Marcello 7th, Kevin Estre 8th, Sean Fern, despite pulling out on the last lap, is classified in 9th position. Marcus Ericsson bagging an important point for Fomitel in 10th. Brendan Hartley just missing out on points in 11th, Mitch Evans 12th, Shane Van Gisbergen in 13th, had a Pietro Fittipaldi, who, believe it or not, was the last driver to take the checkered flag. Joseph Newgarden and Earl Bember crashing out on the penultimate lap. Kamui Kobayashi also pulling out just before the end. Antonio Giovinazzi, Felipe Nasser, Enzo Fittipaldi, Felix Rosenquist, who we lost earlier on, Lawrence Van Sort, Jet Aiken, Roman Grosjean, Scott Dixon, and Danny Kafia, with the rest of those to not finish. Christopher Bell took the point for pole position, and Antonio Giovinazzi got the point for the fastest lap. An astonishing end to the League One Phillip Island Grand Prix. Buemi has sealed his first Grand Prix Series cycle in dramatic fashion. Lighthouse had totally blown it at the worst possible time. They were looking good for the team's championship before Joseph Newgarden caught fire right in front of his teammate at the Doohan corner, and they just took each other out like we wouldn't have thought that would happen. Commiserations to Chris Cavani, who in his second season in League One misses out on the League One Drivers and Teams Championship. For the Prost team manager, who I'm pretty sure everyone that's been watching know who that is, but I won't mention the person's name. It's the first championship in the bag for Prost, both the drivers and the team's championship, and it's going to be celebrations long into the night. At the wrong end of the table, for Kevin McMullen, Marcus Johansson and Sam Hall. After a really disappointing season for all three of them, it's a return to League 2 for Pacific and Marscard Lola. For Manor, after 4 seasons in the top flight, it's relegation for them. Manor are down. Marscard Lola are down. Pacific are down. All three of them are relegated to League 2 for Season 5. For Mattel, survived by the skin of their teeth, Ewan Gale will be celebrating long into the night as well. Ryan Ferris and for Onyx will remain in League 1 too. After all of that, it's time for the final League 1 Drivers and Teams Championship standings in the voice of Topher Smith. And I'll see you for the non-championship Macau Grand Prix round. Sebastian Buemi is the Grand Prix World Series champion of Season 4. Prost are the team's champions for the first time.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is that. The season has been completed and we have all 4 of our championships decided. And here in League 1, Nicholas Latifi wins the race. Sebastian Buemi wins the championship with some huge drama right at the end. The 2 Leighton houses colliding with each other in the closing laps. Chris Cavani, I'm sure, won't be happy to see his drivers cost him the championship like that. But what drama all the way to the end. Buemi wins the Drivers' Championship and Prost snatches away the team's championship in the closing laps. What a way to end the season. Let's have a look at how the points stand at the end of this one. Sebastian Buemi is the champion on 154 points. Felix Rosenqvist equal on points with Scott McLaughlin, but takes the title of vice champion on countback. 129 points for each of them. And Newgarden 1 point behind the duo on 128. Earl Bamber 5th in the second Leighton House on 114. Jean-Eric Verne on 107. Mahavir Okunathan 96. And Nicholas Latifi with his second win of the season moves up to 8th on 84 points. Rounding out the top 10, Scott Dixon, our outgoing champion, on 67. And Raffaele Marcello in the Force India on 64 points. And with the team standings where we can also confirm our relegated teams, Prost is the champion team on 261 points, so congratulations to Tom Cairns for taking the title there. Leighton House will have to settle for second on 242. HRT snatches third away on 200. BAR on 180. BAR moving above Arrows with their win today. They are on 180. Arrows on 173. Force India 6th on 119 ahead of Minardi on 115. Simtek 102. And we have Onyx and Fomital surviving the relegation battle. So relegated down into League 2 for next season. Manor on 52, Marscar Lola on 42 and Pacific on 22. So commiserations to Sam Hall, Marcus Johansson and Kevin McMullen. They haven't been able to avoid the drop for next season, but I'm sure they will come back fighting as they look to get themselves back into League 1 for next season. Well, with the season now finished, we have just one more order of business, which will be the Macau Grand Prix, in which the top 13 teams across both leagues will compete for the title of Macau Grand Prix winner. Last year, that honour went to Marcus Ericsson and the Fomital. Who will it be this season? We will bring you the full entry list for that in the build-up to the Macau Grand Prix. But for now, thank you so much for tuning in. We really hope that you have enjoyed the season. We have our drivers' champions in Callum Ilott and Sebastian Buemi, our team's champions in Carlin and Prost. How is it going to go in Season 5? Once Macau is wrapped up, we will start preparing for then. Until then, thank you so much for sticking with us. We hope to see you next time. Take care.